broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. No, say does that star-spangled yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order! Oh! Solid details, right, peace! Forward, pull!
I think in our lifetimes, Veterans Day has taken on a different role. I can remember as mayor when I first started doing Veterans Day ceremonies. I hate to say it, almost 20 years ago. But when I started to do them, my reality and my thought process of veterans was very different than it is today. The hope was at that time that we wouldn't have as many veterans engaged in combat, and it wasn't something that really entered into my thought process. And thank goodness, in respect to our veterans, much has changed. Unfortunately, when the Vietnam veterans came home, they were not treated with the respect that they deserved. And very much, I believe this country, I would believe that this country has learned its lesson, and to give all our veterans the welcoming home that they deserve and the honor that they deserve for being part of this military and for keeping this country safe. So let's give a round of applause for all the veterans.
70 years ago, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed what many historians consider the greatest social legislation ever passed by the U.S. Congress. As popular as the GI Bill remains today, it took the horrific cost of bloodshed of World War II to remind many Americans just how great a debt owed to our veterans. In 1932, thousands of World War I veterans camped out in Washington, D.C. to petition their government for bonuses that they felt were owed. Their campsite was forcibly overrun by the U.S. Army, and at least 2 veterans were killed by the police. President Roosevelt told the American Legion National Convention in 1933 that, quote, "No person, because he wore a uniform, must thereafter be placed in a special class of beneficiaries over and above other citizens," unquote. While Roosevelt would later prove himself to be a great wartime commander-in-chief, what he and others failed to realize at the time is that veterans were not asking to be part of a special class. They just wanted a shot at the American dream that they fought so hard to defend. I get emotional. Most Americans profess to truly love our veterans, especially at gatherings like this, at Memorial Day and Veterans Day. While their feelings are usually sincere, it is important to remember that veterans are defending us 365 days a year. The heroism that has been demonstrated time and again by veterans, from the American Revolution to the global war on terrorism, is sometimes unnoticed by us who enjoy the security that their sacrifice has provided. Army Staff Sergeant Clinton Romesha has seen war at his very worst. The joy after receiving the National's highest military medal, Staff Sergeant Romesha said he felt conflicted. The joy, he said, comes from recognition of us doing our jobs as soldiers on distant battlefields, but is countered by the constant reminder of the loss of our battle buddies, my soldiers, my friends. Sergeant Ramesh's attitude is not hard to find among the living Medal of Honor recipients. They will never forget the sacrifice of their friends. Neither will the Gold Star families who have to cope without the embrace of their loved ones. The innocence of their grieving children will be challenged by the dramatic change affecting the balance of security and comfort in the routine family. The hearts of these families will feel the sharp sting of their loss, leaving them only with memories of their loving mom and dad. Life as they have known it will be much harder from now on. Our debt to these heroes can never be repaid, but our gratitude and respect must last forever. For many veterans, our nation was important enough to endure long separations from their families, miss the births of their children, endure sub-freezing zero temperatures, bake in the wild jungles, lose limbs, and far too often lose their lives. Military spouses have had to endure career interruptions, frequent changes of address, and a disproportionate share of parental responsibilities. The children often had to deal with changes in schools, separation from friends, and hardest of all, the uncertainty of whether mom or dad will live through their next combat tour. Warriors need advocates, and that is why the American Legion exists. We are here to serve veterans, their families, and our communities. Veterans need each other, but more importantly, our country needs our veterans. You cannot fight a war without veterans, and while the utopian idea of a society without war is appealing, let us not forget that wars have liberated slaves, stopped genocide, and toppled terrorists. It has been often said that without our veterans, Americans would be speaking Russian, German, or perhaps Japanese. Regardless of which view of alternative history you take, we do know that without our veterans, America would not be America. As we look at the Middle East today, we know that there is a large, dangerous, and committed group of fanatics who want to see us all dead. And while ISIS and Al-Qaeda and other terrorists may lack the conventional weapons of Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan, they are every bit as evil in their intentions. Those who defend us from our enemies must be supported. Whether the service was in Baghdad or Beirut, we need to serve veterans as well as they have served us, even when the guns have temporarily stopped firing. The American Legion shows its support for America's heroes through the Family Support Network, Legacy Scholarship Fund, Operation Comfort Warriors, Temporary Financial Assistance, and the National Emergency Fund, just to name a few. Veterans don't ask for much. They do not want to be in a special class, but benefits are a mere drop in the bucket compared to the financial and human cost of war. And while not all veterans see war, all are willing to serve when asked to do so. Historians have said that Dwight Eisenhower was prouder of being a soldier than he was of being president. And while relatively few veterans ever reach the rank of general, pride in one's military service is a bond shared by nearly all who have served. This pride is on display every day on every obituary page in the country, where military service, regardless of how many decades have passed and subsequent achievements have been reached, is mentioned with the death notice of nearly every deceased veteran. Fewer than 10% of Americans can claim the title veteran. Far less than 1% of our population is currently defending us in the global war on terrorism, and yet many seem intent on trying to balance the federal budget by diminishing the quality of life programs designed for the families who have already disproportionately made these sacrifices. Veterans have given us freedom, security, and the greatest nation on earth. It is impossible to put a price tag on them. We must remember them. We must appreciate them. So God bless all of you for being here today. God bless our veterans, and God bless America. Thank you.
Today we honor all of our veterans, both active and non-active, who have the courage and the honor to defend our country. Okay. As for myself, I was 17 when I decided that I wanted to enter the service, and I chose the Marine Corps. Since I was underage, I had to have my grandfather's permission, who is the gentleman who sort of raised me because my mom was sick and she couldn't. So, giving permission, he agreed and told me that to be sure of what military branch I wanted to enter. So, I told him I want to join the Marine Corps. Well, he informed me that if I ever decided to desert, there was no place on God's earth that he couldn't find me. That stuck in my mind all through boot camp, okay, when I was in boot camp. So that kind of helped me. So any Marine out there that went through Parris Island, okay, not San Diego, which we refer to as Hollywood Marines, Parris Island was a rough place. There was no doubt about that. I entered Parris Island in 1963, went on to sea duty aboard the USS Enterprise as guard duty with a Marine detachment. That was in October of, well, it was before 65. But in October of 1965 through December of 66, which I had to correct the mayor, I was not in Vietnam from 63. That was a long time. But it's 65, no. Okay, which was, you know, but anyways, I entered Vietnam in October of 65 and went through December of 66. I left active duty in March of 67 after returning to the United States. Thinking of the heroes who join us today in a group and who are here in spirit, a person can't help but feel awed by the enormity and what you have encountered. The veterans we honor here today come from all walks of life. They possess pride, selflessness, courage. All need to serve a cause larger than oneself. If you have been there, you know that the dirt and the clay never really washes off. Each day we struggle with the what ifs. We remember and we miss the days when we all walked the same ground. And we remember that some of our brothers no longer have that privilege. The new term is boots on the ground. Okay? I wonder where the human aspect comes in as applied to boots on the ground. Where the individuals who put his or her life on the line for the country vanished into the background, and instead of the name, they become known only as assets. Our brothers and sisters mean more than that to we who have walked that walk. They do tell the story. It is the person who fills their boots that deserve the honor. The veterans we honor here today come from all walks of life. They possess pride, selflessness, the courage. All need to serve the cause larger than oneself. A great number of us were asked to leave our homes. Many of us volunteered to do so that we may serve our country and answer the call of duty that our nation asks of us. Many went, many came home, many did not. That is why we are here today, to honor those served, but especially those that did not return. We who lived are merely the beneficiary of those who gave all. Some call the Vietnam War history. We who lived it call it our story. Your presence here today is a great tribute to all who stood and continue to stand in harm's way for our great country. I am forever humbled by my flag and for what it means to me as a symbol of freedom, which is never free and always comes at a great cost. I thank you.
Today is a special day for us to remember those who have served and who have given the utmost sacrifice, which is their life, and for those who continue to protect and serve our country. Veterans Day is a day for all of us to be more appreciative of the lives that we live here in the freedom of the United States of America. It has been such a privilege and an honor to be here in Miramar. Thank you.
I am so honored to be the mayor of the city of Miramar that believes in the importance of our veterans. We want to let them know that their service is special, and also to their families, because the sacrifices that their families make are so very important. And we always make sure when they leave for active duty that they have a place to come back to in the city of Miramar, because that's how you honor our veterans.
Well, today's ceremony recognizing and celebrating our veterans was a heartfelt event. You know, when you think about the many sacrifices of our veterans who have fought and paid the ultimate price, many of them who have actually died, so that we as Americans can have the freedom that we enjoy. And when you reflect upon our family members who have served so honorably, those who have served many years before we were even born to make today possible, it's just a very humbling experience. And we just want to recognize and honor our Miramar veterans who live right in our community, so that we can let them know that we are appreciative, we are so supportive of them, and anything that the city can do to help them in their daily lives, that we are here for you. And we love you, we honor you, and we salute you. God bless our veterans, God bless the city of Miramar, and God bless America.
Thank you to everyone who came out today to help us support our veterans, our Miramar veterans, the veterans in our country. Thank you so much for doing what you do. You put your lives on the line every day for our freedoms, and we could never, ever thank you enough.
I am honored to be here on Veterans Day to help celebrate in the joy that many of the veterans who actually stayed alive and are here with us today. I am very grateful because it's the veterans that defended our country. Without them, we would not have all the joys and pleasures that we have right now. The people in the military family treat you like family. They are some of the greatest minds and some of the best people that you will ever meet. And I'm glad to be here to help celebrate Veterans Day, because there are some veterans who do not have the joy of being alive today, who had to sacrifice themselves so we could be alive.
I'm so very happy that the city finds that this Veterans Day is such an important event, and that it was so well received by the community. We have a lot of people here, and remembering the veterans who are serving now, and the ones who have served, and the ones who have died, helping us so that we could have the freedoms that we have and that we enjoy.
I'm not a veteran, but I wear my hat with pride because of my friend Tony Corona. He served in Vietnam.
Thanks to all of you, and those who are far away, we just look forward to you coming back safe and sound to your friends and families, to your families first and friends.
Wonderful day in the city of Miramar. I'm proud to be a Miramar police officer. I'm even more proud of our veterans, and they have my eternal gratitude for serving us. Many of them suffered and died for us, and I just appreciate them. God bless them, and God bless America.
We pause in order to honor our veterans for their services. We are very, very blessed to have people that have sacrificed so much, their lives and their limbs. We are forever grateful, and words can't say how we appreciate what has been done for us. We thank you and we honor you today, and we are forever in your debt.